In the dark space between the stars, far from the warmth of any sun, a small alien scout ship drifted silently. Its silver hull was covered in black plates that absorbed all light, making it almost invisible. Inside, 3 alien crew members worked in quiet, their voices low. They had been sent by the Galactic Council to investigate a strange planet on the edge of the Orion Arm. The planet was called Earth by its natives. The ship's captain, a tall creature with 4 eyes and thin blue skin, was reading the latest scans. His translator device spoke the words in a cold, flat tone. Atmosphere, breathable. Gravity, moderate. Life forms varied. Dominant species, bipedal. At that word bipedal, the youngest crew member frowned. 2-legged like us? Asked the captain, shook his head slowly. Not like us. They are flesh. Soft. No natural armor, no claws, primitive. But, he hesitated, studying the energy readings. Their brains are unusual. The ship sent a tight beam message across light years to the council. The transmission began with the standard survey code, but ended with a strange note. Recommendation: observe with caution. Bipeds may be dangerous. Far away, in the shining halls of the Galactic Council, the report was read aloud. Dozens of alien representatives laughed. To them, bipeds were always the same and stable, aggressive, unable to survive in the wider galaxy. One silver-scaled ambassador waved a claw. Why fear them? They still burn chemicals to fly into space. The room filled with amusement, but in the shadow of the chamber, an old alien historian did not laugh. His skin was pale, and his eyes cloudy with age. I have read of such creatures before, he said quietly. Once in a time so old it was erased from your records, there was another bipedal race. They burned worlds to ash. We thought them gone forever. His voice grew even softer. Perhaps we were wrong. Near Earth, the scout ship kept its distance, watching from behind the cold face of the moon. They recorded strange events on the surface, below machines flying without. Visible wings. Glowing cities that never slept. Radio signals buzzing in the air like swarms of insects. The youngest crew member's unease grew. Captain, they are looking up. The captain laughed without humor. Of course, they look up. All primitives do. They dream of the stars, even if they never reach them. But hours later, the scans began to shift. A new signal was detected, focused, deliberate, moving straight toward the scout ship's position. The crew froze. No primitive race should be able to detect them through their stealth field. The captain ordered a systems check. Everything was working. Their ship was still invisible. Then the signal changed, carrying a simple repeating pattern. 3 short pulses, 3 long pulses, 3 short pulses. The universal distress code. So as the young crew member whispered, they know we are here. Captain's 4 eyes narrowed. Impossible. Maintain observation. Do not respond. But the signal grew stronger, as if the humans were targeting them. The captain began to feel something he had not felt in many years: nervousness. On Earth, in a dark underground room, a group of humans sat around a glowing table. Maps of the sky were spread across it. A woman in a black suit spoke quietly. We've got them. Above the moon's far side. They think they're hidden. The others smiled faintly, but there was no joy in its homely readiness. Back on the alien ship, the captain sent a final update to the council. His message was clipped, hurried. Bipeds aware of our presence. Stealth compromised. Request instructions. Reply came. The channel was silent. Then the ship's proximity alarm screamed. Something was approaching fast. No engine signature, no energy trail, just movement. The crew turned to the forward view. A dark shape was rushing toward them from the shadow of the moon. It wasn't large, but it moved with terrifying speed. Sensors could not identify it. Evasive maneuvers, the captain barked, but it was already too late. The alien ship jolted violently, lights flickering. Systems went dark for a moment. When they came back, the strange shape was gone, and so was their navigation control. The youngest crew member's voice trembled. Captain, they took our course data. They know where we came from. The The captain stared into the black space where the object had vanished. He realized something: the humans had not attacked to destroy them. They had attacked to learn. He opened a private channel and recorded a final log. His voice was low, almost like a confession. To the council, we made a mistake. These bipeds are not primitive. They are patient hunters. They saw us before we saw them, and they will come for us. He sent the message, but the transmission was interrupted halfway. A new voice came through the speakers, speaking in perfect translation. "We see you." Crew turned pale. The words were calm, but in them was a promise. And then, silence. In the grand chamber of the Galactic Council, the alien representatives gathered in a wide circle. The air shimmered faintly with the heat from dozens of different atmospheres mixing together. Voices overlapped as the most recent transmission from the scout ship was replayed, static-filled. Cut off halfway through, and ending with the chilling words in the human's own voice, "We see you." The laughter from the earlier meeting was gone. Now there was an uneasy quiet. A tall insectoid delegate clicked its mandibles nervously. How could a primitive world detect stealth-class ships? This is not possible. The old historian, seated near the back, leaned forward. His long fingers tapped against the metal table. "It is not only possible, it is inevitable. Are what I think they are. They will not stop now. They will come." The council leader, a massive creature with golden armor plates, slammed a clawed hand down. "Enough of your ghost stories. These are only bipeds, flesh and bone. We have fleets that could wipe them out in ours." From the far end of the chamber, a smaller delegate scaled, with eyes like glass, spoke in a thin, trembling voice. "The fleet will not matter if we do not understand how they saw us. If they can see us, they can follow us. If they can follow us, they can find our worlds." The words hung in the air like a shadow. Meanwhile, far away on Earth, deep underground, a group of humans sat in front of large screens, showing streams of alien code. A man in a gray military uniform spoke in a calm voice. "We've got part of their language already. The more they transmit, the faster we learn." Beside him, a woman with sharp eyes studied a series of alien star maps. "They tried to hide their coordinates, but their navigation system is old. We know where they came from." She traced a glowing finger across the map to a cluster of bright dots. "Right here, this must be the heart of their council space." A younger analyst frowned. "Should we tell them we know?" The woman's lips curled into a faint smile. "Not yet." Like them wonder, back in the council chambers, an emergency decision was made. A second ship, larger, with more advanced stealth systems, would be sent to replace the first. This ship's mission would not only be observation but also a test, determine the full level of human awareness, and find out if they posed any true threat. The captain chosen for this mission, cold and calculating strategist named Varric, stood before the council. His voice was steady. "If they truly are primitive, we will confirm it. If they are dangerous." His eyes narrowed slightly. "We will deal with them before they spread beyond their home system." The council agreed. Ship departed quietly from a hidden dock inside an asteroid near the council's homeworld. Every system was shielded, every emission masked. Even other council fleets could not detect it. 3 weeks later, as the ship approached Earth's star system, Varric began his scans. He expected to find the humans oblivious to their presence. Instead, he saw something strange. Human satellites, adjusting their positions, ground-based radar networks, shifting focus, and a cluster of strange objects in high-orbit objects with no engine signatures, but moving in perfect synchronization. The science officer on board frowned. Those aren't satellites. They're watching us." Varric refused to believe it. "We are invisible to their sensors. They cannot see us." But an hour later, a signal appeared on his screens, focused, encrypted, and directed exactly toward their ship's location. The message was short and in perfect translation. "We were expecting you." The crew went silent. Varric stared at the words, a slow realization building in his mind. They had not found the humans. The humans had allowed them to arrive, And somewhere on the surface, in a hidden command center, human eyes were watching their every move. The alien ship under Captain Varick's command hovered just beyond the edge of Earth's atmosphere, hidden by layers of advanced cloaking. Inside the control room, the crew worked in tense silence. The words from the human message we were expecting you still hung in the air like a warning. Varick's second in command, a lean reptilian officer named Drika, broke the silence. Captain, we should leave. They can see us. We have already failed our mission. Varick shook his head. No, that is what they want us to do. They are playing a game. We will stay, we will learn, and then we will strike. A stealth probe to descend into Earth's upper atmosphere. The probe was the size of a grain of sand to human eyes, invisible to even the most advanced alien sensors. But as soon as it entered, every human air defense network came alive. Radar arrays rotated. Altitude drones adjusted their positions. Drika's scales twitched. They saw the probe. Varick leaned forward. Impossible. No one can see. A Type 7 probe. Then, without warning, the probe feed cut to black. A few seconds later, the ship's communication console flickered. A new message appeared, an image of the probe, perfectly intact, resting on a metal table. On Earth, the humans had captured it without damaging it. The crew stared in shock. Drika muttered. They didn't just detect it, they caught it. Alive, on Earth, in a secure underground facility, a group of scientists in plain uniforms surrounded the probe. A woman with a calm voice spoke into a recorder. Alien stealth technology. Very advanced, but predictable. A weak points in. The frequency masking? We will adapt. She glanced up at a man in a dark suit. Send the message back. Let them know we have it. Back in orbit, Varick was more impressed than angry. They are bold. No fear. This is rare. He decided to attempt direct contact. The ship's translator systems built a message in human language. We wish to meet. The transmission was sent to a carefully chosen location-neutral territory. Far from cities where humans could come without drawing attention, hours later the response came, we agree, but we choose the place. Varick's jaw tightened. He did not like giving control to an unknown race, but he accepted. The coordinates were sent to an isolated plateau in the middle of a vast desert. When Varick's landing craft descended, he expected soldiers, weapons, and intimidation. Instead, only 3 humans were waiting, 2 men and a woman. Standing calmly in the open, no visible weapons. Varick stepped forward, his towering form casting a shadow over them. I am Captain Varick of the Council Fleet, the woman met, his gaze without flinching, and I am here to welcome you. Her voice carried no fear, but something else, certainty. They spoke for hours. Varick asked about human history, human science, and human plans for the stars. The humans answered politely, but never fully. They were open and guarded at the same time. As the meeting ended, the woman smiled faintly. One more thing, Captain. We knew you were here before you arrived. You're not the first to come. Varick froze. What do you mean? She tilted her head. Your first ship. The one you sent before this. We met them too. Varick's chest tightened. That ship was lost. What did you do to them? Woman didn't answer. She only said, tell your council. The bipeds remember. And with that, the humans turned and walked away, leaving Varick standing alone in the desert. The hot wind carrying away their words. Far from Earth, in the deepest archives of the Galactic Council, a sealed vault was opened for the first time in centuries. The old historian, the one who had warned about bipeds, stood in front of a massive stone slab covered in faded symbols. 2 guards stood at the entrance, uneasy. Few in the council had ever seen these records. Most didn't even know they existed. This, the historian said, running his thin fingers over the markings, is the last record of the first war with a bipedal species. One of the guards shifted nervously. You mean with humans? The historian shook his head. No, with their ancestors. Not in blood, but in nature. A race that thought like them, moved like them, destroyed like them. He traced a deep scar across the stone where part of the inscription had been burned away. We erased them from history. We swore never to speak of them. But perhaps we only delayed their return. Meanwhile, Captain Varick's landing craft returned to his ship in orbit. He said nothing to his crew as he walked to the command deck. Drekka followed him. "Captain, what did they mean you're not the first?" Varick didn't answer immediately. He replayed the human woman's face in his mind, her calm tone, her certainty. "It means," he finally said, "that the Council has lied to us." In the Council chambers, word of Varick's meeting spread quickly. Some members wanted immediate war. Others urged caution. The Council leader slammed a claw on the table. "We will remind them who rules this galaxy, if they remember us. Then they will also remember fear." But not all agreed. The glass-eyed delegate from before spoke again, voice trembling. "Fear is what they feed on. If the old stories are true, they will use it against us." Back on Earth, in a secure bunker, the woman who had met Varick stood before a wall of screens. On one of them, an image of the first alien scout ship now. Hidden deep inside a human facility flickered under heavy analysis. Technicians worked around it like surgeons. A young officer approached her. "Ma'am, the Council fleet has increased activity. We believe they are preparing for a show of force." She nodded slowly. "Let them come. The more they bring, the more they lose." She tapped a button, and a large holographic display lit up a map of alien territories with glowing red points marked across it. "We've been watching them. For years, every weakness, every blind spot." Back in the archives, the historian's voice grew softer. "When the first bipeds came, we thought them reckless, had no fleets like ours, no weapons like ours. But they fought with something we could not predict: creativity, instinct. They adapted faster than we could react." The guard frowned. "And how did it end?" The historian's eyes darkened. "We did not defeat them. They disappeared. By choice. We never knew where they went. Perhaps here." At that same moment, aboard Varick's ship, Drekka's console beeped sharply. "Captain, an unknown signal is coming from deep space. It's human, but it's not coming from Earth." Varick turned to look at the holographic star map. The signal was broadcasting from a sector close to the Council's home systems. The humans had not only seen them, they were already out there, and for the first time, Varick understood this was not a beginning. It was the continuation of something much older. The Galactic Council's decision was made in a single night swift, absolute, and filled with arrogance. 20 warships, each one larger than the biggest human city, were to move into position near Mars. Officially, it was called a containment demonstration. Unofficially, it was meant to send one message: submit or be erased. On Earth, the news never reached the public. The skies above cities remained calm, and people went about their daily lives unaware that an armada was drawing closer every hour. But deep in hidden command bunkers, human military leaders watched every alien ship on massive holographic displays. Each vessel was tagged, tracked, and analyzed in real time. In one of those bunkers, the woman who had met Captain Varick stood with her arms crossed. "They think they're the hunters," she said, her voice steady. "But they've stepped into our net." The younger officer looked up from his console. "Ma'am, our ships are in position, awaiting your signal." She gave a single nod. From the shadows of Saturn's rings, a fleet of human craft emerged, small compared to the alien giants, but each moving with unpredictable, almost chaotic paths. They didn't follow straight lines. They weaved, curved, and shifted formation without warning, as if they were improvising every second. On the bridge of the lead council warship, Admiral Korath frowned at the incoming display. "Their formation is broken. They fight without structure. This will be easy." But when the order to fire came, the human ships had already vanished from targeting locks. Alien tracking systems recalculated and failed again. Korath slammed his fist against the console. "How?" His second officer hesitated. "It's not random, sir. They're thinking like predators, not soldiers." Within minutes, too, of the largest council ships were disabled, not destroyed, but drifting helplessly, their systems frozen.
Ow.
No human shots had been fired. No hulls breached. On the alien bridge, alarms screamed. A third ship lost all power. The cause appeared on the tactical readout, a viral intrusion, moving faster than any known code, shutting down weapons, engines, and shields in seconds. Far away in the human command bunker, technicians watched as alien systems fell dark. One after another, they rely too much on automation, one analyst muttered. They built their ships to think for them, which just confused the thinking. Above Mars, the once proud fleet floated powerless, surrounded by much smaller human craft. Not a single alien crew member was harmed, but the humiliation was absolute. Varric's ship, which had stayed hidden at the edge of the battle, Drekka, spoke quietly. They could have destroyed the fleet, Captain, but they didn't. Varric's eyes narrowed. That's worse. This was a message. It's from the Council's perspective. It was a disaster. From humanity's perspective, it was just the first move. And somewhere deep below Earth, in a black vault with no name. The woman in the black suit reviewed a secure file marked only with 2 words, Phase 2. The Council was stunned. Ports flooded in from every sector. Fleets frozen in orbit. Automated defenses turned against themselves. Communications systems hacked with near-perfect precision. For the first time in recorded history, a bipedal species had humiliated the Council without firing a single shot. In the main chamber, delegates shouted over one another, "This cannot be. They are primitive. They are cheating. Impossible. We underestimated them grievously." Varric, still in orbit around Earth, watched the panic unfold through intercepted transmissions. Scales rippled with unease. "Primitive," he muttered. "If these are primitive, then what are we facing?" Drika looked over the tactical readouts again. Their technology is unpredictable, but controlled. It adapts instantly to our patterns. They don't just react, they anticipate. Meanwhile, on Earth, humans moved swiftly. Underground facilities buzzed with activity. Engineers adjusted the alien systems they had captured, integrating human computing logic. Scientists simulated attacks and countermeasures in real time. Preparing for every possible alien response, the woman who had met Varric returned to a secure communications room. A holographic map of the galaxy floated before her, glowing with red and blue markers. "They've spread their fleet too thin," she said. "They will try to regroup. They will not expect what comes next." Her assistant hesitated. "Ma'am? The Council will retaliate if they realize we interfered directly." She smiled faintly. "Let them realize it. Fear is useful, but only when it is controlled." Back in orbit, Varric received another transmission, this time from Earth itself. The message was simple, almost elegant. A single image of the human planet surrounded by a perfect, invisible shield that traced every Council ship's path without detection. No words, no warnings, just a demonstration of control. Varric's jaw tightened. "They are not afraid. They are prepared," Drika whispered. "Captain, what does this mean?" Varric turned slowly, eyes glowing with a mix of respect and fear. "It means," he said, "that we are facing not just a species, but a force. Something the Council has not encountered in millennia." The Council leader, in a panic, called for an emergency assembly. "We strike at once," he demanded. "Destroy them before they grow stronger." But Varric, through the intercepted communications, knew it was too late. Humanity had already seen every move the Council would make. Every plan, every strategy, every weak point, it was all recorded. It's analyzed and countered on Earth. The woman pressed a final command on her console. Across the galaxy, subtle disruptions appeared in alien systems' navigation errors, minor power failures, and strategic confusion. Nothing catastrophic, yet the message was clear. Humanity had arrived. Not as a child to be tamed, but as a predator the Council could no longer ignore. And for the first time in centuries, the Council felt something it had not felt since the age of the First War: true fear. Varric clenched his claws around the console. "Prepare the ship," he said to Dreka. "We need to report this. The Council must understand. The bipeds are not to be underestimated." Dreka's eyes widened. And if they do not believe us? Varric's expression was grim. Then they will learn the hard way. Far below Earth, in the hidden bunkers, the humans continued to watch. Every council reaction, every ship movement, every strategy attempt was all recorded, all analyzed, all prepared for the moment when humanity would finally make its next move. The galaxy had been quiet for too long. The first whisper of human intent had become a roar that no council could ignore. And somewhere, far beyond known space, other bipedal civilizations that had once vanished watched quietly, waiting. As Earth's signals spread like fire, the bipeds had returned. The Council's fleets tried to regroup, but chaos had already spread through their ranks. Ships that had once been precision instruments of war now floated like drifting statues, their systems flickering unpredictably. Panic simmered in every command centered on Earth. The humans watched the unfolding confusion with quiet satisfaction. Their scientists and tacticians were no longer reacting, they were controlling. Every council move, every attempt to regain order, was anticipated and countered before it even began. The woman who had first met Varric stood before a massive holographic map, her eyes scanning the positions of every alien ship. They believe. They can overwhelm us with numbers, she said softly, but numbers mean nothing when you understand your enemy's mind. A young officer looked up nervously. Ma'am, they are sending another wave, larger than the first. Thousands of ships. She didn't flinch. Good, let them come. The more they bring, the more predictable they become. Above the stratosphere, Varric's ship maneuvered cautiously, trying to remain hidden. He had been tracking human fleets, and what he saw unnerved him. Small, fast-moving vessels darted like shadows, weaving through alien formations, evading detection with uncanny precision. Their movements were unpredictable, yet coordinated. They are everywhere and nowhere at the same time, Drika whispered. How can a species so small control such chaos? Varric's eyes narrowed. This is what I feared. Their advantage is not technology alone. It is their instinct. It's their adaptability. They think like predators, but act as a hive. They learn instantly from every failure, evolve before we even finish attacking. On the surface, in a hidden control room, the humans initiated Phase 3. Alien communications began to falter. Navigation signals scrambled, shields flickered. The Council's command networks, which had relied on strict protocols, now struggled. To maintain cohesion, a Council admiral screamed orders at his officers, but the commands went unanswered. Ships collided or drifted into dangerous orbits. Automated defense systems shut down one by one. Varric watched in stunned silence. This is beyond any strategy I have ever learned. They are not just defending, they are rewriting the rules of engagement as they go. Back on Earth, the woman observed the effects with a calm intensity. They will try to strike directly now, she said. When they do, it will be their last mistake. In orbit, alien ships began to maneuver, desperately, forming defensive lines, trying to regroup. But the humans anticipated every tactic, every vector. What appeared as chaos to the Council was actually a carefully orchestrated trap, and as the Council fleet closed in on Earth, hoping to force submission through sheer power, they realized too late that the bipeds had already surrounded them not with weapons, but with intelligence, strategy, and patience. The galaxy was about to witness a new order, one that would shake the foundations of the Council forever. And deep in the hidden bunkers, the woman smiled faintly. The bipeds were not just surviving, they were about to teach the Council a lesson no species would ever forget. The Council was in complete disarray. Their fleets, once symbols of absolute power, drifted helplessly in orbit around Earth. Systems failed, weapons offline, shields flickering. Panic replaced arrogance in every command center. Varric hovered near the edge of the battle zone, unable to comprehend what he was witnessing. Drika's eyes reflected the chaos on the holodisplay. Captain, they are everywhere. They control everything. Varric's claws tightened around the console. No, they are not controlling. They are teaching, and we are the lesson. Earth, the woman who had first met Varric, watched as the Council's entire strategy unraveled. Human forces, though smaller in number, moved with an almost instinctive precision. Every council maneuver was anticipated, every flaw exploited. A technician approached her nervously. "Ma'am, their fleet is requesting a ceasefire. They don't understand how we did this." She shook her head slowly. "They will understand soon enough." Above the clouds, human ships swarmed the council's vessels, not with weapons, but with systems that mirrored, countered, and predicted. Every council move. Ships that had threatened entire planets now floated like powerless shells. Varric's communicator beeped urgently. It was the council leader. "You will fire immediately. You must regain control." Varric's response was quiet but firm. "Leader, you already lost control the moment you thought we were weak. And now your fleet's no fear in a way you have never imagined." The council, for the first time, realized that the humans, the bipeds, were not merely another species. A force that could think, adapt, and overcome, not through brute strength, but through intellect, creativity, and unyielding will. On Earth, the woman gave a final command. A wave of subtle disruptions rippled through the council's systems, shutting down their ships without a single human casualty. Varric watched, awestruck, as the once proud armada surrendered silently. The galaxy had changed. The bipeds had returned. And history would never be the same in somewhere. Far beyond the known stars, civilizations that had once feared humans began to whisper among themselves, "They have returned, and they are not to be underestimated." The First War was over, not with fire or blood, but with strategy, intelligence, and patience. And humanity, small, underestimated, and resilient, had claimed its place among the stars. The council would remember this day forever, and the bipeds had only just begun.